Greetings friends and enemies, welcome back to Art by Flan. Today we have a special piece for MERMAY. If you're not familiar with MERMAY, it's basically, it seems like everybody on the internet just draws mermaids in the month of May. I'm sure there's more to it than that, who it was created by or what the purpose of it is, but it's an excuse to draw mermaids and not draw legs, and I'm gonna take that. This will probably be the only MERMAY video I do this month. I have been doodling some on Instagram, but I'm definitely not following any prompts or doing it daily, as a lot of people are. So this is probably the only piece for my channel, and I wanted to do a bit different because a lot of the mermaids I've seen are women. And I did a merman instead. So this is my character Baneara as a slippery eel merman, king of the sea type thing. I thought it would look nice, and I was right. I like how this came out. A lot of this video you won't see the base colors, even though they're there, because the coloring on him is pretty dark. So you'll just see a lot of like white and blue shading, but there are colors and you will see them at the end when I'm working on the final bits. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little something for MERMAY this month. It's a really fun little thing. It's not like it's kind of like Inktober where you just draw one thing, but I think with Inktober you're supposed to, you know, use it as a chance to figure out how to use ink in ways you've not done before and things like that, whereas MERMAY is just sort of this fun little thing where everybody fills the internet with mermaids because mermaids are fun to draw. And my favorite part is you don't have to draw freaking legs, which is one of the reasons a lot of my mermaids have been mermen, because I feel like I have a good grasp of upper male bodies, but legs and hips and thighs are just, I don't know, I keep giving them women thighs, and that's not how it works. So I'm using this as an excuse to draw a bunch of dudes as sexy mermaids, so take it or leave it. This is absolutely non-canonical to Baneara's story in any way, shape, or form. It just looks cool. And I was really excited. Like, I didn't have this particular image in mind when I started sketching, and it was just one of those that came naturally, and I'm pretty happy with it. I also did a little different with the shading. I added not just one layer of cell shading, but I kind of took something from Aerofx's book and did like a couple different layers of shading. So you have your base shading, which you'll see once I finish the line art, and then you have like a darker blue where I go in and add some deeper shadows, and then of course you have my gradient overshades, which I do. And I think this is a good chance to show you guys that I redrew a lot of this sketch. When I did the pencil sketch, I was not at all happy with his face. His spear trident thingy didn't have a top. I didn't like his hair, so I ended up redrawing a bunch of it digitally, and that's sort of become a theme. There's another piece, if you watch my vlog you saw it, where I just ended up, sorry, that was my phone, Frankensteining the sketch and fixing it digitally, which is, I think, is one of the really great benefits of doing digital art, where you can redo massive portions of your sketch and not have to lose any of your sketch and not have to lightbox it or anything. So that's one of the many reasons I love digital art. You can just, if you don't like parts of your sketch, you can just Frankenstein it with some digital art and have it go in there. The other thing I'm not particularly happy with is I think I drew his tail too short. It definitely could have been longer and more flowy, but when I drew the sketch I was inhibited by the size of the paper, and I just didn't go back and fix that, I guess. Felt like it would just be too much damn work. And here, I got so mad at me because I messed up my light sources. I shaded his face with the picture one direction, and that wasn't really feeling comfortable with my hand, so I flipped the canvas and started shading, and then when I flip it back, I realized, crap, his face has a totally different freaking light source. So I had to go back and redo that, and I feel like I kept doing that over and over again, where I would just start shading on a portion, flip the canvas, continue working, and it would be the completely wrong light source. So another thing I did differently with this piece is, oh, and that's where Paint Tool SAI crashed. You got to see my desktop for a minute there. Yes, it was Mercy. Another thing I did differently was I changed the direction of my light source. Normally, out of habit, it's upper right or upper left hand corner, and this one, because I fudged it up and I didn't want to reshade his chest, I just made it the upper right hand corner. It's usually left, I made it right, so it was a little different, as you know, you get into the habit of shading from one light source direction and you don't really think about doing it differently until you flip the canvas and you mess up. So I definitely did something different there and messed with my lighting. But other than that, it's not a particularly stressful piece. It was really fun and relaxing to do. But so much so, like I said, when I finished, I didn't like the plain shading, and I added that extra layer of depth. I also had no idea how to shade an eel tail. Like, I think this is the first time I've ever drawn an eel tail. So I was looking up references and they weren't very helpful, so I just sort of wung it and did whatever and hoped and prayed that it looked good. Like, the shading on his tail in general is just kind of meh. It's not bad, but it's not great. It definitely looks better once it's colored and things look a bit more blended than they do when I'm doing the initial shading. And like I said, a lot of what you guys are going to see is this blue on white where I'm just doing my base shading, because his color scheme is so dark that it would have been hard for me to see the details of what I was shading with his colors on. So sorry about that. You will see what his colors are in the end. So yeah, nothing too inherently complicated going on here. And here's where I decided to go in and do that extra layer of shading to add just a little bit more depth to stuff. It starts out really dark blue. I think I change it up and make it just a little bit lighter. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I just decided to add that in. Like I said, I had so much fun working on him, and I felt like he needed a little something more. So we should be shifting on over into Photoshop here in just a second, and you can see his colors kind of pop in. Oh no, I turned them on. Okay, yeah, there they are. So as you can see, his color scheme is really quite dark, and I didn't want to risk fudging up any shading by not being able to see it. Why do that when I can just turn the layer off and get a good look at his colors? Now, for all the dark colors, he does have a relatively warm color scheme, which is really interesting when I pair it with the dark blues of the background. And here is the final piece, shifting it in just a second. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button. You can leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more from me, you can check out my channel and click that subscribe button for a new video from me every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.